wrapping up our show. Ashley and I will be in New York on Wednesday for the New York City Marathon. This is your second. This will be your second marathon of the year.
Of the year,
yes,
yeah.
On the ground. So we are super excited. I'm really, as Molly Huddle kind of mentioned, this women's field.
Oh, it's loaded.
Loaded. Absolutely loaded.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. You know, if you look, there's just too many great athletes. I'll begin first, I guess, with you'll have the defending champion returning to this race. That's going to be Sharon Lokedi, and she won this race last year in her debut marathon, which is absolutely insane, first off. And she kind of, like, shocked the world. Like, she made huge headlines across the nation for winning the New York City Marathon, sponsored by Under Armour. She won in 2:23:33. However, she hasn't raced. I was looking at her World Athletics profile. She hasn't raced at all since New York City.
Literally has not raced.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how her return to New York City goes. I mean, hey, they worked the first time, so maybe second time she can win again. And then, looking at some of the other big names, you're going to have Helen Obiri, which she won the Boston Marathon earlier this year in 2:21:38. She trains, I believe, with the OAC, and she was 6th in New York City last year. So she has been to this course. She knows what to expect.
Yeah. I think my biggest question is Sharon the heavy favorite?
No.
I know she's the defending champion, as we mentioned, like she hasn't competed, but she's doing the exact same thing she did last year.
In my mind, she's not the heavy favorite just because I haven't even gotten to my favorite on this list.
Oh, who's your favorite?
My favorite here has to be Bridget Kosgei.
Okay.
She has a PR of 2:14:04. That was the world record until it was brought down by Tigista Sefa back in Berlin a few months ago, or really a month ago, and now she's number 3 all time for that distance behind Sefa and Sifan Hassan. So for me, she's going to be the favorite because she has that speed in her. Now, I will say, the New York City course, it's not necessarily one where, like, maybe the fastest person wins, right? Because as Molly was saying, it's a challenging course. There are hills, there are turns you have to make, and it's not necessarily, a good course to PR on. So we'll see what happens there. But I think, it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
This woman's field is just incredible, and especially just looking at Helen's resume. She's a 2-time world champion, 2-time Olympic silver medalist as well. She's ranked number 5 in the world right now for the half. Like, this is a
You have the heavy hitters going out there.
Oh my
gosh,
gosh,
hitters.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the guys' side, because I know it's probably not as in-depth as the woman, but still it's going to be a great field.
Yeah, it's a bit of a smaller field, unfortunately, I believe. Yeah. Like,
a couple people had to drop out.
And they were some of the race favorites, the headliners of the race had to drop out. However, some of the people they've added could definitely win this race. I think the biggest ad here, and my favorite to win this race, has to be Tamarat Tola of Ethiopia. Mainly because I think he wants redemption, I think, after, I watched him run the World Championships marathon on TV in Budapest, and he had to drop out of that race, towards the end. The conditions were brutal there in Budapest for the marathon, and he had to drop out. And so, potentially he wants redemption from that and wants to have another shot at winning a marathon this year. And earlier this year, he was 3rd at the London Marathon, 2:04:59, and he has a personal best under 2:04, 2:03:39 back from 2021. And so, if you look at this field, he's the fastest guy going into the field, and I think he's going to be the guy to come out on top.
One individual I just want to make a note of, who I'm a huge fan of.
You're a huge fan of?
I'm a huge fan of Edward Cheserek, a.k.a.
King Ches.
I remember watching him during his Oregon days. I think that's when I was at A&M. We kind of crossed paths a little bit. And ever since, he went pro, I felt like he's kind of been floating underneath the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
But he also ran a half marathon this year in September in Denmark, number 17 in the world with a 59:11. So I'm just excited to see him come to life again.
Curious. I'm just so curious.
Yes.
Again, he hasn't ran much.
No, he hasn't.
I'm looking now. He ran the Houston half earlier this year. I was there.
I was there.
Did
you see King Ches?
I did not see King Ches. I finished 8th there, and then he ran the New York City half. So he's been to New York this year, and he finished 5th. And so, again, very curious, because I feel like, as you mentioned, since he's left college, it's like, where's King Ches? We want more King Ches.
We want more King Ches.
I think Edward Cheserek is going to be someone really curious to see how he does in his debut marathon.
Woo. It's going to be an exciting weekend. So like I said, Ashley and I will be on the ground, so be sure to look out for us as we'll be handling all the coverage, all the stuff that you guys are wanting. You guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the FloTrack podcast. We're so super excited to have you with us. Stay tuned to all the exciting things going on. I know there's still state championships going on this weekend on the high school side, but of course, New York City Marathon is the big headliner.
Can I like wave everyone out?
Oh, you can wave everyone out. Yes, Hermione Granger is going to wave us out. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week.
See you soon.